Mambo number 5.
You know, Gary, we need more black in this episode.
Wait a minute. Should I?
Jesus. I mean, I'm in my black t-shirt. You're in your black t-shirt. I got a black. Look, I got my seat coordinates with the graphic you created.
Lighten that up a little bit. My head's not as warm, but
there you go.
All right, here we go.
Flick flops are unfiltered reviews of all of the movies we chose to view. We love some and other we've simply hated. You can find out by how much we rate it.
This week we're delving into September 5, the 2024 historical drama that revisits the harrowing events of the 1972 Munich Olympics. Directed by Tim Fehlbaum and featuring a stellar cast, this film offers a fresh perspective on focusing on the journalists who found themselves at the heart of a global tragedy. Does September 5 provide new insights into this event, or does it tread familiar ground? I have a mouthful of marbles, and welcome to Flick Flops.
Welcome to the flick and the flop of our things here. I'm trying to pull up the darn Rotten Tomatoes, Gary. I forgot to have that ready to go. This is currently sitting with the critics, Gary.
Critics.
93%, and with the audience, 91%. So if these are in the order of the ones we recorded them, this is very similar to the one we just did, which is Companion. And that's a very fresh film. Gary, do you ready to jump right into our quick...
Let's talk about our
ratings.
A quick reminder that our rating system is unconventional. We don't hand out stars, we hand out poos and TPs, up to 5 of them. And just to add more confusion, the more we give, the crappier we think the film is. Crappier, get it? Yeah, it's dumb, but that's the way we do it.
End scene. I was merely acting! I'll go first if you want, Gary. September 5, I guess what we're calling it, because that's what it's titled.
Are you giving it September 5 poops?
No, Gary, I'm coming in at this one. I'm gonna go with a 1 on this one. I really enjoyed this movie, and I'll wait for yours, then we'll talk about it. But
it's gonna be really easy. It's gonna be really easy because there's just enough paper. I also gave it a 1.
Oh, good.
A 1 TP.
There we go. We're simpatico on this one.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Look, I would say this. I was telling a guy I work with today about this. He says, "What did you think of this movie?" Because I was telling him what we watched, and I said,
"Yeah,
you know what was good about this movie is it was a riveting, tension-filled drama.
Yeah,
it's not action-packed, but I found myself on the edge, so to speak, like waiting because it feels like it's kind of done in some real time,
right? Yeah,
and I think." I didn't know a whole lot about this. I know you and I talked about this at our end of year wrap up, and we thought this might be an interesting film. But then you think, well, how exciting how good could this film be? And I'll tell you, the filmmakers did I'm saying brilliant job of intermixing, Jim McKay walking into the studio,
right?
And it's not Jim McKay, and then he just shows up on the camera because they're using archival footage. Mm-hmm. I mean. It looked flawless, and I was like, God, that is. And granted, it's probably no super hard thing to do, but it looked awesome. And for me, I love this behind the scenes that you're seeing because what this basically is you're watching this control room deal with a situation as it unfolds, and they are sports people; they are not news people,
right?
And they're the only ones at this time that are broadcasting. Not every network is there; they're the only ones there. And the maneuvers they have to go through to get footage, and then the tension builds because it's the hostages, And anyway, this was a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and again, this is one I would like tell my dad to watch. I mean, I wouldn't tell my brother; he would think it's stupid. But my dad, yeah.
Well, so like you said, and we talked about previously, I wasn't super aware of all the events that happened during this. I mean, you kind of remember that it was a point in history and there's a reference to it here and there, at some point in your life, you kind of hear something about it. But actually seeing it kind of play out was fascinating, but also in the aspect for me of there's a lot at play because you've got multiple characters that are dealing with different things that they have to do.
Yeah.
And you see, like you said, the behind the scenes, but you're also seeing like stuff of the time. So you're seeing that they had to deal with this technology that they had at the time. You don't think about that stuff now and how simple a lot of this stuff would be in today's time. They're dealing with all this stuff to try to get the story.
Film. They've got to film to the cameras.
Right. Exactly. So there's a lot of that. And there's also some stuff that you just don't know how it's done. Back in those days, you don't really think about it. Like the on-screen
the imprint
titles
ABC.
And stuff that they were doing. And I found that fascinating too. It's not just fascinating because you're seeing kind of the way this event, and I'm assuming that it's pretty close to what happened because, you know, it's not like there are times that you're like, well, this is a little slow in this part or a little something, you know, you're like, well, it's telling the actual story. This is not like a fiction thing. So it feels authentic. The print of the film feels authentic. I mean, everything, it feels like you're watching something from the 70s and just seeing the way all that plays out and the technology they had to use. I just thought all of that was it was really captivating to me too. It was a good movie.
Yeah. I mean, to keep piling on your, what you're saying there is like the little things, showing the guys in the room soldering wires together to try to make something work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can hear to,
and the language barrier.
The language barrier.
Being in a country that it's not the U.S. It's in
like how
Germany,
important did this girl become to the entire show?
Right.
I don't know where he's at in my thing here, but Peter Sarsgaard. He looked like Rune Arledge. I knew who he was supposed to be.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. I mean, like you said, they took time to show you something that, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't important to the show, the movie. But like you said, inserting that little ABC logo because the feed was going to CBS.
Right. And they wanted to get the credit.
And they wanted to make sure they got the credit.
Yeah.
And the way that they found a way, like we do stuff on our editing software and we can do it. It's very simple. To see how they had to do it back then.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the fact that that's what they were thinking. And the fact that they had to make a tough decision about, do you show a hostage possibly getting shot?
Right.
In today's world, everybody would film with their iPhone and it would be uploaded and it'd be seen all over the world. They had to make a call about being tasteful and tasteless.
Hey, there's another thing in the trailer. So this is not giving away anything about the movie. But there's that whole, should we be showing any of this? Because the police were trying to, trying to figure out a way to get into this place to stop them. And they're basically airing this on TV. So, there's a dilemma there as well.
Yeah. And then the fact reporting certain news before it was confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I said, that's the tension you feel. And they did, I think, a superb job of making you feel that tension.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I said, to me, it was a moral dilemma. Like, what would I have done?
Right.
Would I have said, do this over this? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I look at things just from my perspective. If it was me, would I want to see whatever they were about to show? But the producers are looking at it as like, we have an obligation to record history here. So we have to do this. And it's the fact that they could turn that off and be like, look, I understand what you're saying, but we have to document history. And so but again, I say it again, it's just, they did a great job of you feel the tension in this film. And I think that was, to me, that's why it gets such a good rating. So I'm glad we saw it. I thought this might have slipped under our radar for us. Like, we'll see it eventually. So
I was glad to be able to see it now before it got, too much further away from when it was released. But the other thing I will say is the tensions that are there, because this is Munich on the grand stage now after all the stuff that has happened.
Yep.
That is kind of played out in the dialogue and some things that are said in there too. So there's that historical part of how important this really is to that country. And then this happening, that's just another element that's simmering beneath the surface the whole time. The dialogue, everything that you got to pick up on all these little things like that. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm gushing too much.
And again,
I just thought it was fascinating.
Speaking of the whole German tie-in, I thought this girl would have played a different part in that. I thought she was going to go a different way.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I don't trust her.
Right.
I don't trust her. Like she's running through and she changes out says, "Give me the guy's headset for her radio." I'm like, she's up to something.
Right. Yeah.
You're suspect.
Sus.
So, anyway, but yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't want to give anything away, even though there's no big secret. It's like trying to give away the secrets of the Titanic. We all know what happened, but
maybe this time that doesn't sink.
I would venture to say that most people we know do not know what this whole story is about and what happened. I wasn't sure what happened. I didn't look up anything. I just wanted to watch this film and enjoy it, and I thoroughly did. It was really good. So,
I think maybe it's our age too. It's like I found as I get older, I'm more interested in history.
Yes,
and seeing stuff that happened while I was alive, but I was too little to really know or have any context for it. So it's
absolutely,
this was in my lifetime, and now I know a little bit more about it. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, good movie.
Yeah.
Everyone should check it out.
Go see it.
Do it.
Do
Thanks.
it. Hear me
Thanks,
now, believe me later.
Yeah. And comment below. I'm just going to leave it on that one, Handy.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
Hey, and Gary are coming to you with a new movie they like to review. Whether they liked it or you will soon see by their rating amounts of poo or TP. They rate things different than other shows. The higher the amount, the more it blows. Flick flops are unfiltered reviews of all of the movies we chose to view. We love some and other we simply hated. You can find out by how much we rate it.
This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tommy Twins Media.